Hello everybody, welcome back to the Death Finder, where we find the deaths in the random entertainers. My name is Jamie B. Denise, and today we'll be going over Simon's End. Simon's End is the third skit that the Simon's Games takes place. Now let's get started with Death Finding. It starts with an officer named Randy 10 walking to the front door of a house while smoking. Luckily, he puts that cigarette out. Officer 10 ends up knocking on the door. The door suddenly opens by the first knock, or the only knock. Officer 10 goes in the house saying that he's a police officer. He ends up looking around, but he goes downstairs. Officer 10 hears a muffled sound coming out of a door, which he ends up going inside of the room, and the person who was yelling the whole time was no other than Thomas, the winner of Simon Says. Officer 10 finally frees Thomas, and they go leaving out of the door, but then get confronted by Simon. Simon says,
"Well, hello there, officer. Did you come here because of a noise complaint?"
Stuff about noise complaint or whatever. True story. They get ambushed by a goon with an axe. They have a really cool fight scene. Probably one of my favorite fight scenes of them all, but Officer 10 ends up knocking the guy down. Officer 10 arrests him, and Thomas and 10 decide to, heal up and recover from it. And they end up going to the stairs, but another goon, but this time with an AK-47 shows up. He shoots at them, but only hits around Thomas and Officer 10 and Officer 10's body vest, which was about, let's just say, 7 times. Thomas and Officer 10 escape the bullets, but the AK-47 goon comes downstairs to try to fight him off again. Thomas, with his smart thinking, grabs the axe of the other goon and tries to hack at the AK-47 dude, but it just deflects and he ends up getting kicked back. Then Officer 10 says,
"Shot me in the chest when you were killing me,"
shooting the AK-47 goon, stomping on his face, which I'm guessing makes our first death in the Death Finder and Simon's End. We go back to the original plan of going upstairs, and they enter a room, which they get ambushed by Simon again. But Simon has a knife this time, and he stabs the armpit of Officer 10. Then Thomas and Simon have like a grappling match or whatever it's called, and Simon ends up throwing Thomas onto a bed and then starts trying to stab Thomas. Officer 10 saves Thomas by pulling Simon off of him. Simon later pulls out his 1911 from Simon Says and shoots Officer 10 in the vest again. With Thomas's quick thinking again, he goes to try to strangle Simon and then ends up knocking him out. Thomas helps Officer 10 in walking because he got beaten up a little bit. But then another guy, let's just call the pizza goon because he has pizza, shows up saying,
"Hey Simon, I'm back!"
He realizes that isn't Simon, nor is the other guy, so they have another fight scene in the dark, also making another death on the Death Finder. They finally exit the house, but they see another goon, distracted hopefully, and Thomas ends up shooting him and having another death on the Death Finder. They walk out more, going near the driveway, and Officer 10 backhands another goon, killing him also. That is crazy. Officer 10 must have a really strong backhand. They're really close to the driveway, but then they get confronted by Simon again, with Simon saying, "This isn't a part of the plan or the game." But Thomas is pretty mad because, Simon put him in a game where he had to kill some people and, got tortured. So, Thomas says this quote like, This is my game now. And then kills Simon by impaling his head on this pole thing that has a sharp object on the side of it, making a final death of Simon's End, because then Officer Ted and Thomas walk off and the credits roll. Now this was Simon's End, which is the end of the Simon series. No! And now I'm gonna see how many people died, who were the genders of who died, and who gets the rusty knife, and who gets the diamond pickaxe.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier, and I'm the other Death Finder. By my count, there were a total of 5 deaths in Simon's End, all of them being male. Now on to the rusty knife and the diamond pickaxe. The person who gets the rusty knife is the pizza goon, because you don't really see what happens to them. An off-screen death is always a boring one. As for the diamond pickaxe, it will go to Simon, because he got his head impaled, and that's always pretty cool. Anyways, that's all for Simon's End. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again in another Death Finder video.